Welcome everyone to the Saddle Cartel YouTube channel. We are here with another episode of our success series, and we've got a unique one here today. And we'll get to that why here in a little bit. But we got a great guest on, Adam Daub. What's going on, man?
Not much. How's it going?
We're making it. We're making it. We're doing good. We're winding out the season here, and some people are still getting after it. And we're gonna hear about this buck that you killed, man, as a slammer, and so we're pretty excited about it. But before we dive into it, I don't know if you've watched any of these, but I got a little list of rapid fires here for you.
All right.
All right. So, summer sausage or deer jerky?
I got to go with summer sausage.
There you go. You're a coffee or an energy drink guy?
100% black coffee.
Oh, man, I don't know what is up with the coffee people because it's disgusting to me, but I'll let it. You look like coffee drinkers. That's fine. Okay. So, I don't want to give it away here. I know you bow hunt too. So,
Yep.
mechanical or fixed blades?
Um, actually, I'm kind of transitioning right now. I've been mechanical my whole life, and this year I just started fixed blades.
Okay. Have you killed anything with
So,
the fixed blades yet?
yeah, I killed one doe in October with my new bow with a fixed blade.
Fixed blade. Okay. Morning or evening hunts?
I mean, I'll hunt all day, but I prefer an evening hunt. I,
Nice.
I I kick myself every time going out in the morning, but this buck was a morning buck, so
Okay. All right. So if you were gonna shoot a Boone and Crockett typical, so let's go 175 typical or a 200 plus non-typical.
I'm going non-typical.
200 plus. Who wouldn't? I guess. And then tell me, give me an animal that you think you could beat in a fight.
Oh, I don't know.
What's the
I
largest caliber animal you think you could successfully take?
I could. I mean, I've taken 400 or 500 pound steers down, but
Okay.
I mean, I get turkey down real easy.
Okay, okay. So it's a
Uh,
domestic cow or a wild turkey.
or Canada goose, they'll give you a run for your money. I'm not.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, all right, man. We're gonna dive into it here. So just tell us a little bit about where you're from here and what got you started in hunting and the outdoors and your passion for it all.
I grew up in Pennsylvania on a farm, so going out with guns and shooting stuff all the time. That's just what we did as kids.
Hmm.
And I got into hunting. We'd go down to my grandmother's in West Virginia and rifle hunt in December. And then, when I got old enough to hunt in Pennsylvania, I hunted rifle hunt a little bit, and I just did rifle hunting here and there. And then, about 15 years ago, one of my coworkers got me into archery hunting, and that's when I really got the plunge into it. Running grew up hunting farms, and then we really plunged into public land, state game lands, all over Pennsylvania. And that really, he's like, he wanted to get me into archery hunting. I'm like, no, I like my rifle hunting. And once I got in a tree stand with a bow, it was over.
The bug will bite you hard in that archery stuff.
It does. And, I climb a tree stand summit, it was my bread and butter for a long time. And then, I moved to Maryland, well, before that, I hunt turkey, deer, bear in Pennsylvania, waterfowl hunt a little bit. And then I moved to Maryland about 5 years ago, almost five, almost 5 years ago. And then I started getting into public land archery hunting and rifle hunting and muzzleloader hunting down here, and there ain't no, it's totally different. Even though I'm 2 hours from where I grew up, you just can't walk onto a farm and get permission to hunt. Everybody down here has everything leased out for high dollars, and it's really the first couple of years I lived down here, I didn't hunt because I didn't have nowhere to go. We moved down here with my wife because she grew up down here, and it took me a few years to get my bearings and find some land to get on, but I got on them, and we started hunting. And then a couple years ago, I met good buddy of mine now, and he's the one who got me into tree saddles. And this is my second year hunting in a saddle now, and I went out hunting with him the first time, and he's like, "You got to get one of these," and I'm like, "I like my Summit." I'm like,
Yeah.
I go up in my climber stand. I ain't getting in one of them saddles, and he brought it over here, and in the backyard, and we went to town on it. And I went on a hunt with one, and I sold all my all my climbers and my hang-ons, everything. They all went. But yeah, no, it's been a run here in Maryland. Learning. The big thing is learning all the new laws
Oh yeah,
down here.
I can see that for sure. So
You
what
know,
kind of give us a little bit of an insight on what your terrain features and like what are you hunting primarily? You know, is it field edges, you in thick hardwoods? Like what is it what's in
um,
your area there?
it's everything. It's all flat. There ain't
Okay.
much hill. You got hardwoods. You got real thick brush. You got marsh where you're wading out waist deep in the marsh in the frag, and you're hanging on dead trees. Or it's a little bit of everything. You can field hunt. Some of the WMUs have agricultural crops on them, like the one I was hunting on there, or they're butted up against agriculture. So it's not like Pennsylvania where you get rolling mountains, but it's good flat land. It's flat enough where we're not allowed to use bottleneck cartridges. You got to use either slug gun or straight wall cartridge rifle
Okay.
hunt.
Okay.
So there's a little
Cool.
bit. Depending on what you want to hunt, there's plenty of everything. You want to put your time in the marsh and hunt sika deer or hunt whitetails along the marshes. You get that, or you want to hunt hardwoods and just run whitetails. You can. There's plenty of places around.
Sweet, sweet. So that going to that transitioning to the saddle then was probably a game changer for you because you got to move around and be a little stealthier. And like I said, I never used the climber just because here in Oklahoma, the big oak trees and stuff that we get in a lot, they just don't allow with all the limbs. But it had to
Yeah,
be a major difference in weight and being
yeah,
muscle, huh?
yeah. The first time I hunted with him, where he went with his saddle, I about died. And he don't want to take it. I'm like, nah, man. It's like I hunted mountains carrying this climber back, 2-3 miles in. I'm good. And down here in the marsh, no, you don't want a climber on your back.
Goodness. Well, don't get into the deer yet, but give us a little breakdown of like what your season's been so far, like how it started. Give us a run through of it.
It started. We Maryland. We start in September. I did some hunting around here in archery season. Went after some sika deer, and then I hunted. I really didn't get into whitetail until our early muzzleloader, and I went out with that and whacked a couple does down here, and then I went to Pennsylvania, got a couple does up in Pennsylvania, and then came back to Maryland, hunted archery, shot a nice doe, filling freezer. That's all I've ever done was, bucks are nice to look at. I put my time in chasing them, but
Yeah.
I'm a I'm a meat hunter, and I went out, the opening day of rifle season. I hunted. A friend of mine took me out onto his private property, and I shot a nice 6 pointer there. The opening day of rifle season here in Maryland. But after that,
Heck yeah. And
it
then
changed after that.
so the one that you shot with the bow, you said you shot some with the bow early season. You were
Yeah.
transitioning to your broadheads, your fixed blades.
Yep.
How was what kind of what kind of what am I trying to say? What was it like with the bow? Did you get the results that you wanted switching with to your
Yeah.
broadheads and stuff there?
I mean, it was 25 yards, double lung shot. And it went 20, 30 yards and piled up,
Sweet.
You just,
All you could
you
ask
just
for
gotta,
there.
what I'm looking at, you gotta be more sure on your shot because with them mechanicals and them big blades, you got more, if you're not 100% on,
Yeah,
it's still gonna do the job. But with these, they're about
absolutely.
one, one in those ones I was shooting were VPA. They were 1 1/16 or 1 1. They were 150 grains. I think they're around like 1 1/16 cutting edge, but single
Nice.
bet.
Nice. All right. So, and walk us through what was next. You killed more than that, or how many deer did you kill this season?
Um, well, I lost track honestly.
All
I
right.
killed I
Well,
killed, I killed 2 buck. I went down to Virginia. I shot a couple in Virginia's rifle season. The mother-in-law has a place down there, so we went down there, and I filled her freezer. Shot a couple deer for her, filling her freezer. And I wasn't horn hunting down there either. It was just get some and get them done. But
Well, that's what
um,
I liked about some of the stuff you posted on Facebook, because it seemed like you were pretty well versed and you had been in some different states, doing some out of state type stuff. I know you're not terribly far from where you grew up and stuff, but to a lot of people, getting out of state periods is a feat in itself, and you're getting out
yeah,
there and you're killing multiple deer. I thought that was pretty dang cool. And then if we go back to the beginning, I said this is a unique one because you're saddle hunting, but this buck that you posted, which was a slammer in Maryland, was with a rifle.
yeah, it was the 450 Bushmaster straight wall cartridge rifle. You
Sweet.
know, I mean, last year I did take my flintlock out. Long rifle, 44-inch barrel. Traditional flintlock,
Uh
and
huh.
that was interesting trying to get around a tree. I didn't shoot any because I got busted. It's not easy to maneuver
Heck no.
broomstick around while you're up in the tree.
That's what's up. Well, what was the date on this Maryland buck?
December 10th on
December 10th,
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. Keep going. Walk us through it.
Um, it was about I think it was about 40 degrees in the morning when I left the house here. It's about 2 hour drive south of me. No, about an hour and a half south of me. And I hunted the property a few times in archery season, scouted it, seen a lot of buck on there, talked to people that hunted this property, public land. Um, I put a couple days in before rifle season, scouting, seen, glassed a couple of the areas around where I was, and there was about 3 or 4 different bucks, that were to me, 130, 140 maybe. Where I grew up, you shot 100 buck. That's a big deer.
Heck
We
yeah.
we were always chasing them 120s, and my biggest buck I ever shot before this was 119. And that to me that's a big deer where
Hey,
where I from.
I'm telling you, they're still big here. You start seeing a 130 on the hoof, and they're pretty big. It's a big deer.
Yeah. And where was I there? Yeah, I put a camera. I walked in. It's about mile or so in, and I hung a camera up and watched it about 2 weeks before I was going in for my hunt, and I had one big buck on camera, um, and a lot of doe, so it was promising.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in. I was in. It was cold and windy, and it was fall. I left the house here. I couldn't see 20 yards in front of the car. I drove the whole way down there. I was like, man, I don't know why I'm doing this. I never really had much luck in the fog like that, but it was good. I got up in my tree that I picked out. The about a month before I was in there looking around where about where I wanted to set up, and I figured I'd plan the morning in that tree that I set up in, and then in the afternoon I'd get down and go walk and find a different area to hunt in. But I was up in there, didn't see nothing. There was a big old red fox that came through at daylight, and then it was terribly foggy. I could see 20 yards, and the next minute, fog would open up, and you could see about 40 yards, and I was just questioning myself the whole time, like, man, why am I here?
That's usually when the
But
good things happen.
And I'm like, it was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was cold. I didn't pack too heavy because I didn't want to sweat up too much going in there.
Yeah, sure.
And I decided it was about 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm gonna get down. I'm gonna walk back to the car, drink some coffee that I had there, black coffee. uh, I just got my stuff packed up into my pack and lowered it down, and I was sitting there just doing one look around before I grabbed my rifle, and then something just caught my eye out in the cornfield. I was hunting a little section of hardwoods butted up against an agricultural cornfield. And I figured, if I get up, I was up about like 20 feet or so. I figured if I get up high enough, I could, be able to see into that field if anything crosses. And I had a good view around in the woods there. But and then that's when I saw he was his head down, coming across that field towards me, and I just looked and just seen deer moving. I didn't know it was a buck, but I seen it was a big deer, and he came across there, and then he picked his head up in like a little fog patch, and I could see big rack on him. I'm like, whew, this is why I'm here.
And I was almost to get down.
In Maryland, you can shoot 2 buck.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, they have to be, you got 2 tags and you can shoot one. You can't shoot them both with the same weapon. You can shoot one with a
Okay.
muzzle, shoot one with a rifle, but you
Okay.
also have the opportunity to buy a bonus tag. So if I shot that buck the opening day of rifle season, I bought my bonus tag so I could take another buck with that same
Oh, okay. All right.
weapon. So I had my bonus tag, specifically just to hunt this area. And, I had him, I grabbed my rifle and threw it up on him. And I ranged it afterwards, and he was about 75, 80 yards into the cornfield from me. And I just drilled him, man. He spun around in a circle and went back out into the cornfield. And I lost him for, it felt like forever. Like I lost him. And then, I just seen another deer just run in the opposite direction back into the woods. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I don't know if I hit him. It looked like I hit him, but you can never tell. I
So
was
let me back you up real quick. So whenever this buck and he's coming through the fog and you're seeing him, is the buck fever setting in at that point, or are you calm and collected?
no, a lot of people say that, but I am stone cold when it's on.
Okay.
I'm, I don't stare at the antlers or count points.
Sure.
I seen that one split. I believe it's a split G2 that was sticking almost straight out the back, and that's what like got me going. I'm like, that's it. I'm not looking at the rack anymore.
Okay.
And that's when I put my binoculars down and grabbed my rifle, and sealed the deal on him. And
Heck yeah.
I was like, man, and I just started questioning myself. I'm like, man, did I hit him? I'm like, I quick, lowered my gun down, climbed down, left everything there, climbed down, literally jumped out of my saddle to get on the ground, and I just beelined it out into that field. And I was, from being in the woods to going into the cornfield, I was questioning myself. I'm like, where was he? I couldn't. It all looked the same. So,
Yeah.
I got to where I thought it was, and I just started doing like a big spiral in a circle, and I finally found a blood trail. And I'm like, well, this deer ain't going nowhere. It looked like I've never seen a blood trail like that. It looked, 450 is a big caliber, and it punched a hole right through that deer. It looked like somebody took a garden hose out there and just poured it in a big line. And I'm like, I just started following the blood trail. I had the rifle, and it just hit me. I'm like, oh, let's see where this goes. I'm like, he can't be down. He can't be moving. He's got to be dead.
Right.
And big semicircle, and I found where he disappeared in the fog. He was standing there. There's a big pile of foamy lung blood, and I'm like, whoo, we're good to go. And I just look up and I just seen him, and he was about 40, 50 yards from me and he was standing in the wood line in some brush, and he was doing the wobble, and
Oh,
I'm like,
dang. So he was on his feet still.
he was still. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, I don't know how he was still standing, or how he was still, in the upright position with the amount
You
of.
you got out of that tree fast. You just didn't know how fast.
I got down there, and I stood there, and when I was standing there looking at him, and he was just huffing, and I seen the rack, and I'm like, he's not going anywhere. And my instinct, like that, I threw the rifle up, hit him right again, and he just folded up right there.
Heck
And
yeah.
put 2 rounds through his shoulders, and first one was lungs, and then the second one I just put it right on his shoulder. I said, he's not
Anchored him.
where.
Heck yeah. So,
Uh,
and so when you got up to him, well, I
oh,
guess first in Maryland, and I don't know a lot about the state, obviously, but that's got to be a slammer there, right? I know it's a
um,
slammer anywhere, but is that like something spectacular type thing or what?
to me, it's spectacular.
Sure.
The state record came out of the marshes, and it's 268, which
Okay, so they got some big deer there then.
big deer. There's some big deer on this property, and I've seen pictures of big deer that were killed there in archery, 140s, 150s, and
Hmm.
I honestly don't know what this buck scores. I took some basic measurements and dropped them off the taxidermist because it was 65 degrees here that night, and I'm like, I have nowhere to store it. My freezers. I'm like, I have nowhere to put this rack.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I called my buddy as I was walking up to him, and he's the reason why with the saddle hunt and everything, and he got me onto this property. He hunted there a little bit, and we started hunting there together. And I'm like, I walked up to him on the on FaceTime, and he's like, I'm like, dude, I'm like, I don't know what to say, man. And he's like, what? He's like, he just started questioning me. What's going on? He's like, I haven't heard nothing. I'm like, dude, I just killed a big one. And he's like, well, let's see it. I'm like, and the first thing I'm walking up to this deer, and I was just stopped. He's like, well, let's see it. I'm like, first thing I told him, like, it looks like something you see on the wall at Cabela's. It's just giant. And I just dropped to my knees and started crying. You know, I was just so overwhelmed. You know, I'd never put my hands on anything like that before.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it was just, you know, I talked to him for a little bit and then I called the wife. I FaceTimed her as well, you know, and I'm probably gonna get flack for not calling her first, but you know. I called her and I was still in tears and she's like, what happened? I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. And she's like, what, did you fall out of the tree or something? I said, no, I'm sorry. I'm like, we're gonna have a taxidermist bill here because
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, well, they can't be too mad at you for that.
No, I turned it around. She was super happy for me, and she's like, "Well, she's not one on taxidermy animals. You know, I got a full mount bear in my house, and you know, I don't have no shoulder mounts, and you know, so I'm have my first deer shoulder mount. I've always just done European or placker racks,
Yeah,
screw them up
dude.
on the wall.
That's a freaking stud of a buck. And I know you don't 100% know what the scores, but man, just going off pictures and stuff, what do you earn? You know, you can tell me, what do you think it
I
ballpark?
mean, he's 12 points. He's got
Hmm.
both brows are split. One side is G2 split. He's 20-inch spread. His G2s are 10 inches. His G3s are 9 inches.
Yeah.
Um,
So I
I don't
could,
I don't personally know. I just took them rough measurements after you know I sent some pictures and people were looking at him. You know, and it's all figment of judgment. Some people say he's 150, some say he's 180, but you know, you don't know. I dropped it off the taxidermist and he told me he's like nobody's touching this until your 60-day dry period and then it's going. He already had the guy from Maryland Bears, Bucks and Stags coming out to measure it after I talked to him the next day and I'm like I want to get it scored, you know, and he's like well I already made the arrangements when 60 days are up this deer's getting scored.
heck yeah. Well, I don't, like I said, just looking off the pictures you posted, I wouldn't be surprised if he's, to me, it looked like 60s to 70s or could be bigger, but that's just a
Yeah.
photo. And I immediately was like, yeah, but he's in between 60 and 70 because he's a stud and he's got mass, he's got tines. He's a hammer, that's for sure.
And he's got I grabbed the base of them antlers and my fingers didn't touch. I'm like, wow.
I tell
It
you
just
what,
carries
I
it
hope
all.
one day I can grab one like that. But man, he's a stud, that's for sure. So, well, so cool. Congratulations, man, stud of a buck. Sounds like the hunt was super memorable, and you can't ask for anything better. I kind
Yeah.
of want to take you back though and ask you what was your gear and your setup that you were using to make all this happen.
So I got a buzzard roost saddle.
Okay.
I last year was my first year in a saddle, and my buddy got me. He just he had a whole bunch of extra gear around. And he gave me everything to you know get me out and get me confident. You know, set up here at the house. And after I hunted a season, I started picking up my own stuff, and you know I got my own saddle. I got a buzzard roost. It is 100% different from a one single panel to a double panel saddle. It is comfortable. I mean, and it took me a little while to get adjusted.
What did you come from? What was the single panel?
Ah,
Don't
I,
recall.
it might have been a
It's fine.
tether,
Okay.
but I don't. I really. It was at that point. I was okay. This is cool. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it me. You know, but it was yeah. My platform. I'm running a tethered predator platform.
Okay.
All one. I'm not. I don't. I don't. I borrowed my buddy's. He has a large, and I'm like, I really like that from what I was using. And then I ended up getting the small one.
Okay.
And
So you're multi-sticking too, I guess.
yeah, I got four. They're Shikar mini sticks. They're single steps with, and we put aiders on them. So most of the time,
Sweet.
I'm running 2 to 3 sticks. that day I was 4 sticks with 4 acres to get me up high enough to get out into that cornfield.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're was the corn wasn't out yet?
Yeah, it was all gone. It was just I
Oh,
had to
okay.
drop off from where I was in the woods, and
I
it was
see.
thick brush all around. So I had to get up high enough to get through and have a few shooting lanes into that field.
I see. Right on. Well, it sounds like a heck of a little setup there then.
Yeah, and then my pack, I got the Cruiser Escape pack, which I really like that pack. I was using a Mystery Ranch or something pack, and I like that one, but I got that Cruiser, that Escape pack. That I love that thing.
Nice.
It's not too big. You can take enough in for a day hunt. It's great.
Sweet. Well, I love hearing about the gear because, like I said, we get a lot of there's a lot of posts there on the Facebook page and things like that. People asking what they use, and so you hear a story like this, and you hear a little bit about the gear that they're using. It gives someone a place to start and look, and they can find success in knowing that they have some confidence in whatever it is they go with. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So man, heck of a gear setup there. What is you said you were three years into the saddle game or 2 years? Second year.
Sec-
Second year? 3 years living in the States, second year in the saddle. Give us
yeah.
give us something that that you would tell someone getting started, like piece of advice. Give us a little something there.
You want to get into saddle hunting? Find somebody that's got one and is fluent in saddle. I would never have gotten a saddle if it wasn't for my buddy Justin coming out here with his saddle in my backyard. He hung it up on a tree and he let go of the tree and like did a somersault in his saddle. He's like, I'm not going nowhere. He's like, you have nothing to worry about as long as you're tethered off. And I was like, holy crap, that actually ain't too bad. And
Yeah.
he's standing there and he's going all the way around a tree. He's like, I can do any shot. You pull release your tether out, throw it over your shoulder if you want to turn around, or swing all the way around a tree. And I'm like, it's kind of cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you know,
yeah,
coming
finding
from
someone that's got some stuff you can try and all that, it's a good starting point, man. It's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I I don't know how much you really want to talk about it, but me and you we're friends on Facebook now and different stuff, and it's kind of I want to talk a little bit about what you're into as far as your gun making and your knife making and stuff. And
Um,
I don't know if you got anything there handy or not, but dude, I think it's super unique and cool.
is it gonna get taken down? Because I don't want to bring it in because a lot of times I have people that have YouTube stuff and they get demonetized because of having guns and weapons in the content.
Man, I don't know the answer. Show us show us something little. You ain't gotta show us a lot,
Um,
but just tell us about it. Even show us kind of what you're into because
well,
it's really unique and cool. I think.
I do traditional work, 18th century work. I make knives and guns. I forge knives out. I build guns from a blank. I source barrels and locks, and sometimes I'll use castings for the hardware, but a lot of times I'll forge my own hardware, make all the parts, do all the carving, engraving. I just actually finished a gun up tonight, and I've just got the finish work done on that one.
Dude, they're really unique and cool, and for that time period and stuff. I mean, they look pretty legit, and like just finding looking at the craft of those old woods that you're staying in and turning into something. I mean, they're really gorgeous pieces of work, and so I
Yeah.
think they're real neat. And if someone does want to look at them, is there a place that they can go check some out?
Um, my business is 18th Century Arms. I have Instagram, I have a Facebook page, I have a website, 18thcenturyarms.com. I'm not taking orders right now. I'm at a place in my life where I got a new job and I've been training this whole last year. And it's been about the last month I've actually finally had time to get in the shop and get some stuff made. But I'm on the point right now where I make what I want to make and then I
Yeah.
sell it with it.
Well, I think just people to go look at it. I think it's just cool to showcase the craft. I mean, I'm not good at anything, so I think it's really impressive whenever there's people that are handy enough to make what they do and do things like that. You're making these guns, Trey's making these self bows, and they're a craft, and it's all cool. And I like to showcase it, and I think it's real neat. So go
Yeah.
go go check out some of Adam's knives and stuff on his page, and they're super cool. I think everybody will be impressed with it.
Yeah,
And
I'm hoping to take a deer with my flintlock out of the sack. I,
that'd be
I,
sweet.
tried it for it last year, and and it didn't make it happen. And then this year, I was on meat. I was going for meat because every time I'd be out with a flintlock, it'd be just out of range.
What is an
I,
effective range with one of those?
I mean, you can a good flintlock, a good quality flintlock, not like, I mean, your Thompson centers and your produced gun, your factory produced guns, they're good, but
Yeah.
good quality barrel, custom built flintlock. I mean, I've seen guys hitting gongs at 250 yards with
Oh,
them all.
okay. Wow.
I can hit. I'd be confident hitting a deer at 100 yards, but I don't prefer to go over 50 with a
Sure.
round. You know,
Sure.
just because there's a lot of if, ands, or buts that could happen in that time. Like taking a far shot on a bow. One
Sure.
with a one step is the difference between harvesting or wounding deer if they
Sure.
try to take a step. But every time I've been out with a flintlock, I've killed turkey with a flintlock. I got a smooth bore, but I've just actually never killed a deer with my flintlock. One of my flintlocks that I built. So
Well,
I
maybe.
bought an inline this year, and I think I shot 4 deer with the inline in muzzleloader season, and every deer that I shot, I would have been able to harvest with my with my flintlock. So
That's about how it goes. People that for example, I don't know how many times I've tried carrying my trad bow, and I'll get out there and I always second guess myself, and I'll grab the Matthews and head out, and then
yeah,
I'll shoot one at 10 yards with the compound, and it's like, man, if I'd had that trad bow, we could have got it done. So I'm sure it's the same
yeah,
aspect.
that's exactly the same. You want to use the best. There's nothing against using traditional stuff, but to me, I want to use the best tool for the job to get it
Sure.
done. Like
Yeah.
I crossbow. I bought it, when I moved down here, the second and third year hunting down here. My father-in-law took me out and got me on a piece of property that he hunts, and they got box blinds on it, and you gotta schedule when to go, and then there's just drama. You go in there and you see one buck, and you try to get in there, and then everybody else finds out, and it just turned into a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
I First year I'm like, I'm not going back, and then I didn't get out scouting. And then the second year, my wife's like, "I thought you weren't going back." I'm like, "Well, I didn't have time to go scout, so." And
Yeah.
I had to buy a crossbow because they wouldn't let you hunt out of a climber. You couldn't walk around. You had to be in them blinds, and you can't shoot a compound out of them box blinds. They're made for rifle hunting.
Sure. Yeah.
So I bought a crossbow. I
Yeah.
killed one,
Well.
but it just hangs in the basement. I figured I'll save that for the kids once they get a little older.
There you go. Well, I think all that stuff though, it's whatever you have confidence in. You know what I mean? So if you got confidence in it, more power to you. Get after them and lay them down. But well, what's the rest of your season looking like? Is it over? We got more season
Um,
left?
we go until February.
Oh, okay.
So, no, it's January. No, we have a traditional season in February where you
Okay.
can use self bows or flintlock muzzleloaders. But I mean, you can still go. Right now is muzzleloader season, and then we got a late rifle season coming up. But I'm done. I'm not. You know, Part of me wants to go out and shoot more deer because my wife says it's like an itch that I can't scratch. But I still got one buck tag I can take with a muzzleloader or the bow. But it's like at this point, I'm done. I've
It's
fulfilled my season. It's
yeah.
time to slow down. And butcher, and I
Keep
butchered. I think I butchered 13 deer this year myself. I do all the processing myself, and that takes a lot out of you. Even after getting a
does.
hunt, and hunting here in September, October, it's unusually warm here. It doesn't get
Hmm.
like this is in the last 2 weeks we've had cold. It's been below freezing here since, but you can't let deer hang. The 6 pointer I shot the opening day rifle, I was able to let that buck hang 5 days before I had to get him
Oh,
processed.
nice. Yeah.
But I'm
Well.
done. I'm not
Yeah.
greedy.
Yeah, I say it might be, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it might be hard to top that buck that you harvested there. So yeah, if you're
Yeah,
not greedy and you're not hurting for the meat, it is what it is.
I,
Everybody
I,
loves to get out there, but if you can be satisfied, and I think that's a good one to be satisfied with.
and I don't need any more. We got more than enough
Sure.
to us through. So it's like I'm just.
Sure.
focus on other things until I'm already next year figuring out properties to go hang cameras on. I had a few people, they I mean, social media is good, but some people I don't understand it. Like that worried about their target bucks. I had like two or three different people messaging me on Facebook asking if I shot this buck off of such and such property.
They thought it was theirs.
On a buck, they're like,
Oh
"Hey,
man.
that looks like
Hey,
that one."
hey, big bucks will make dudes crazy, and I can't say I'm not one of them at times. But man, big bucks are cool. There's no denying it. And so, if people think maybe you got theirs or quote unquote theirs, people get worked up. But
Yeah.
dude, I'm telling you, you'll have to keep tabs with us and let us know whenever you get the official score because I think
Um.
it's a very very interesting. Great deer for Maryland, and I think a lot of people will be interested in what he is. And
Yeah. I think we got the first week of February, so around the sportsman show during the sportsman show in Pennsylvania, when be getting scored.
sweet. Well, keep
So
keep tabs with me at least. Put it on the page. Man,
yeah.
honestly, congratulations. Great buck, great story. I love the emotion and the passion that you kind of show in it. And thanks for coming on. Like I said, thanks for posting it. Whenever we get stories like this and get to talk with people, that's what makes it worth it. It's always fun to us. So, um, man, again, thanks for coming on. Congratulations, and we'll catch you down the road.
Yeah, it's been fun.
You bet, man. All right, thanks.
All right, we'll see you. Thank
Have a
you.
good one. Bye.